What is the Students' Rights Ordinance? The Students' Rights Ordinance is a set of regulations that safeguards students from discrimination based on factors such as gender, religion, and family background. While national laws are applicable to the entire country, local ordinances are considered regional laws. The Students' Rights Ordinance was first implemented in Gyeonggi-do in 2010 and is currently enforced in 6 regions, including Gyeonggi, Gyeonggu, Seoul, Jeonbuk, Cheongnam, and Jeju. The enactment of the Students' Rights Ordinance empowers students to raise concerns when their human rights are violated. Nevertheless, there are some who advocate for the abolition of this ordinance. Recently, the Seoul Metropolitan Council approved a petition to revoke the Seoul Students' Rights Ordinance, which has sparked a debate on the issue. Proponents of repealing the Students' Rights Ordinance. Supporters of the repeal of the ordinance contend that it has negative implications for both students' right to learn and teachers' rights. Since its implementation, there has been a surge in crimes such as insults, defamation, and assault against teachers. Additionally, the ordinance solely focuses on students' rights and neglects to emphasize their duties and responsibilities, hindering the natural development of virtues that can be learned in school. This trend could lead to a decline in the educational authority of teachers, which ultimately affects students in the long term. Therefore, restoring the educational authority of teachers is crucial for students to receive a quality education, and hence, it is imperative to repeal the Students' Rights Ordinance. In addition, it is hard to say that the Students' Rights Ordinance is actually effective. It is implemented only in 6 regions in Korea, and some point out that it is unfair as it cannot be enjoyed by all students nationwide. For it to be effective in protecting students' rights, there need to be uniform standards established across the country. When surveying parents and teachers, an overwhelming majority of opinion agrees to abolish the ordinance. Rather than establishing a set of rules that only protects the rights of students, we should create a space where students' and teachers' rights are equally respected and education, which is the primary purpose of schools, can be fulfilled effectively. Opponents of repealing the Students' Rights Ordinance. Opponents argue that repealing the Students' Rights Ordinance is a step backward for democracy. Educational authority is not in conflict with students' rights. In fact, corporal punishments and overregulation in schools have decreased since the ordinance was enacted, which positively impacted students' right to learn. In addition, the ordinance specifies what constitutes a human rights violation, making students aware of what human rights violations are. The notion of equality between teachers and students is widely recognized, but before the establishment of the Students' Rights Ordinance, there was a prevailing belief that teachers' rights were superior to those of students. If the ordinance were to be repealed, it could lead to a return to the past, marked by excessive regulation and the use of physical punishment on students. Also, as the ordinance was set forth to protect human rights, repealing it would also be a step backward in protecting human rights. The right not to be discriminated against based on sexual orientation, age, background, etc., is a fundamental human right, and the Students' Rights Ordinance explicitly states this, which makes its existence significant enough. The United Nations has also expressed grave concern about the motion to repeal the ordinance. Therefore, we should instead expand the rules to create an ideal classroom where all students have their human rights guaranteed.